Hello dear friends, this is Dimitri, your host. Welcome, fantastic to see you online. Please, let's wait another couple of minutes for others to join. Anyway, it's a little bit too early. Meanwhile, I want to ask you a favor. Please type in the chat box if you can hear the sound and if you can see the image. Please type yes if you can hear the sound. Okay, now it is 2 o'clock Amsterdam time and I'm super excited to start this presentation. So today in this webinar I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about violoncello da Spalla, what it is, what it does for your career and what your career will look like once you have implemented everything which you have learned today. Now please type yes in the chat box if you can hear the sound or not, and also it would be great if you could type where you are joining, from which country, and what do you do, whether you are a string player or an instrument maker. Please type in the chat box. Now, so today, as I mentioned, I want to share with you how violoncello da Spalla transforms your life. Whether you're a violinist or violist or maybe an instrument maker just like myself. And it is a very, really simple career hack that is proven again and again to work. So are you excited to learn, yes or no? Please type in the chat box. So I would like to start with asking you a couple of questions. And that is, number one, are you an instrument maker or maybe a string player? And do you believe that you have a special gift for what you do, whether you play music or you create instruments? Please type yes if you believe you have a special gift for what you do. And also, type yes if you also believe that even more people deserve to find out about your gift. Type yes. And hey, let me ask you another question. Type also yes with an exclamation mark if you also believe that more people deserve to find out about what you do and you also want to get paid. In fact, type yes with an exclamation mark. Now, why are you here? You are here because potentially you are an instrument player, so you are potentially a freelance musician, and potentially you have experienced a situation in your life where you've been on your last gig and there's nothing in the future fixed. And how did that make you feel? Maybe that made you feel somewhat fearful. How are you going to make the ends meet? How are you going to pay at least some of your bills? And potentially because of that sense of insecurity and instability, sometimes you felt forced to accept every gig coming your way, even the low-paying ones and even the unfulfilling ones, or even take jobs on the side which have nothing to do with your gift for music. And as a result, maybe one of those late nights you're sad and alone and thinking, maybe these other people are right, there is no money in music and I should find a real job. Have you ever felt like this? Maybe you are here because you are a very successful musician, you are full-time employed and you are making music and there is no financial pressures of any kind at this moment and hopefully also not in the future when you retire, and everything is really fine. But the reality is that for so many full-time employed musicians, they are at their jobs not because their jobs give them that sense of fulfillment and a sense of playing an important role in the culture of classical music, doesn't give them really the joy of being musicians, and they stay at the job just because of money, because it pays bills. And how does that make you feel? Potentially, you may have felt somewhat disappointed and maybe even shared with your colleagues that your children would never become musicians. Now, also possible that you are here because you are an instrument maker and you are creating fantastic instruments and you've been doing this for a long while and you are making beautiful copies of Stradivari violins or Guarneri violins. But the problem is with that, have you ever felt also being compared to others? Have you ever felt downward pressure on the price of your instrument from the competitors just because they are copying the same instruments, or maybe even factories? And how did that make you feel when your potential client goes somewhere else and buys a violin which is not anywhere as good as yours, but they buy that violin because it is old or cheaper one? And how that makes you feel? Maybe somewhat distrusted, somewhat unappreciated, and perhaps because of that you are in a situation where you had to take side jobs and start the repair of instruments and maybe even selling accessories around music, even side jobs which have nothing to do with music. And after all, that is not why you became an instrument maker. Does that make sense? Yes or no? You became an instrument maker because you want to actually create fine instruments and make a living from that. Yes or no? Now, potentially you're here and you are an instrument maker and you are building instruments for world famous musicians, and you are promoting your instrument making business using traditional methods such as word of the mouth, or even trade shows such as Mondo Musica or Frankfurt Messe or Gengake Fair or the Boston Early Music Exhibition and so forth, and maybe even magazines such as The Strings, The Strad and so forth. And probably you've been spending tens of thousands of euros on those methods of promoting your career, your instrument making atelier. And how did that actually work? Did you feel sometimes that you've spent 3 days in this exhibition and you've made just a handful of prospects, hoping that one day they will buy? Have you ever been in that situation? Now, if this is where you are, now how would that be for you to be in a situation where you are a professional in music, whatever you do, whether you are an instrument maker or you are a string player, violinist or violist, and you are in a situation where you are actually surrounded with a crowd of people who absolutely admire what you do. And not only that, they want even more from you, and they are also willing to reciprocate, that is, give you their money for what you do. How would that be for you if you were in a situation where you are in complete control of what you want to create, when you want to create, for whom, and also how much you want to get paid? How would it be for you to really actually own your gift for music rather than rely on so many factors which are actually completely outside of your control, such as employer, state of economy and so forth? Would that be welcome in your career as a professional in music? Yes or no? Now, brilliant. If that is your situation now, would you agree that in order to get from here to where you actually want to be, you need a new vehicle? Yes or no? And that is actually precisely why I'm today speaking in front of you about the violoncello da Spalla, what it does to your career as a violinist or violist or an instrument maker, and how that brings you from the point where you are not in full control to the point where you are actually living from what is your true passion and your true purpose in this life, that is creating amazing things in music. So, are you excited to learn even more about this, yes or no? Please type in the chat box if you want to learn more. Well, you might be also wondering, hey Dimitri, wait a second. If that was so easy, and if that was true what you are saying, then the world would be already full of violoncello da Spalla players and violoncello da Spalla makers, but that is, Dimitri, not the case. Well, glad you asked, because this is actually a really good question. And here's my answer. Well, that is because simply not enough people know about this instrument, and which is why I'm speaking to you today. Secondly, because a lot of people have certain beliefs about things. And I'm not here to criticize those beliefs. They are absolutely correct. So if these people believe that it doesn't work, correct, it doesn't work. But I want to simply draw your attention to a different kind of beliefs, which are also true, and which actually work, which actually allow you to do what you really want to do. If you want to go from that place to this place where you are in full control of your gift. Does that make sense to you? Yes or no? Please type in the chat box. Well, I want to share with you how all this thing works, how I do things differently today as an instrument maker, and how I did things in the past also as a violoncello Spalla player. But before I share with you my strategies, I want to tell you a few words about who am I and why actually you should listen to myself at all. Would you like to know? Yes or no? Good. Then let me start by asking you a question. Do you believe that you really have a gift for what you do, yes or no? It is January 2013. And you see me in a very dark room. As I open my eyes, what is this? Blue light, ultraviolet light, and the smell of medicine in the air, and the sounds of electronic appliances behind my head. And what are these pipes in my hands? I try to move my body and I can't. Suddenly the door opens and bright daylight fills the room. And there's a beautiful woman at the entrance. Long black hair, dark eyes, a beautiful white scarf around her neck. Why does she know I'm here? Why is she looking at me like this? Why is she walking so slowly? Dimitri, I'm so sorry. I haven't been there when this happened. I'm so sorry. Doctor said that apparently you had a stroke. Tomoe. I remember, yes, I was playing the violin and suddenly I could not move my body. What does the doctor say? Will I have to spend the rest of my life in this bed? Why? And as I hear her soothing words, I drift away, back in time in my memory. And it is February 2006, and I'm in Japan, Tokyo. And you see myself in a house surrounded by a bamboo bush, and there is a sound of bamboo forest coming into the room through the window that is open. And you see me speaking to my ex-Japanese lady, whom you might describe, she has a classical Japanese beauty. Dimitri, what do you think about this concert dress? Is it good on me? Kiyomi, yeah, it's nice. I'm really sorry. My mind is somewhere else. No, but can you believe this woman? You know, I'm there on this huge concert stage with a shining pipe organ behind my back, 1,600 people. Audience waiting for the performance to begin. I'm there on stage with my violoncello da Spalla, tuning the instrument, and then suddenly she approaches me, with her straight graying hair, corners of her lips pointing downwards, and she whispers on stage, Dimitri, I really don't like how you play. We discussed this, you don't fit in here. Wow, dear, I really don't understand why you chose this moment to tell me that kind of words here on the stage before this huge crowd. I wish you a fantastic concert too. No, Kiyomi, but I don't understand. In Europe they like the way I played. In Europe I was successful. Well, Dimitri, this is not Europe here, and yeah, maybe you just don't fit. Silence is interrupted by a gentleman entering into the room, a bald hat, a thick tortoise shell, eyeglasses sitting on his thick nose. Hiro, you have been my father-in-law for 4 years, and being a musician was my dream, a passion of my lifetime from the age I was 5. It's a lifetime of experience and education, and I don't understand, Hiro, why all of a sudden all these people are telling me that I don't fit. Dimitri, in this country, we like people who fit in. Just do that, and maybe one day we can accept you. How would you feel in my place? Have you ever felt being rejected? just because you have a gift for what you do. Well, that's how I felt at that moment. Every now and then I still performed, a majority of gigs being very boring, also very low paying ones. And 2 years later, dark, late night, you see myself at a crossroads in central Tokyo. Very narrow street, a crowd of drunken men and women, vending machines on both sides, and there is this bell of the railroad crossings, and in fact I'm waiting for the train to pass, the train rushing past myself at an enormous speed. A very short distance, I could literally touch it with my hands. And I'm thinking, hey, look at yourself. Is this why you became a musician? What is this? What are you doing? On antidepressants? Drinking too much? Don't you think, Dimitri, you have to change something? And at this moment, I feel my legs tremble, I lose power, and suddenly this loud voice in my head, jump, just jump now, and then it's over. And at this moment, I feel somebody kicks me into the shoulder. I turn around, and there's this drunken Japanese guy, a business suit with a necktie on one side. Hey man, what the hell are you doing? You were so close to the train. Good job, I pulled you. Oh, yeah. I was just thinking that, I'm a musician and I just want to make music, and now I'm jobless, and just like no one appreciates what I'm doing. And I'm looking into his face and I can't believe he looks so similar to Victor, my Kung Fu teacher, from the time I was 18. And it was as if I heard the voice of wisdom. Dimitri, if you don't have something in your life, that's because you don't want it strongly enough. Wow. That was a moment. Have you ever been in a situation when you felt that enough is enough and you have to take control into your hands because you have a gift for what you do and you know what you have to do? This is what I felt at that moment. So I decided to organize my own concert. Violoncello da Spalla was the instrument of my choice for this. And the local music mafia, the one that fired me a couple of years earlier, they all went on a mocking frenzy. Have you seen this crazy foreigner? Is he really trying to fill the halls? He even cannot play. Why don't you give up, misfit? And it was about the time I meet a Japanese lady who became my partner in organizing those concerts. Tomoe, do you realize you have zero chance in this country just because you are helping me? Dimitri, I don't care. I am doing what I feel is the right thing to do. And that's it. How would you feel in my place? I really felt that she was a gift from the above. So slowly we started filling up the halls, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people. A year later, Tokyo Opera City Recital Hall. Dimitri, have you realized you have just generated 5,000 euros in pure profits? Wow! But the most important thing is that I didn't give up. I figured out how that works. I got on concert stage with Violoncello da Spalla. This was the key, because does that make sense to you? If you are one of tens of thousands of violinists playing on the same instrument, same repertoire, all over again, it's much more difficult to make it on a large concert stage, whereas when you are the only Violoncello da Spalla player, even in a city like Tokyo. So I've got on the national TV, national newspaper, major newspaper, radio, magazines, and so forth. And then I recorded multiple international award-winning CD on the Violoncello da Spalla. 2010, I decided to go back to my beloved Europe, maybe to start new family, maybe to pick up my career from the place where I left it off when I moved to Japan in 2006. But Europe in 2010, 2 years after the crisis of 2008, was completely unrecognizable. Orchestras were closing all over the place, and instead of And continuing my career, picking up from where I left it off to the new level, boom! It's 19th January 2013, and you are in this dark hospital room with my wife crying by my bedside. Dimitri, but do you remember, you told yourself, what is the point in having a gift and not using it? Yes, Tomoe, but what if I cannot play ever again? What if I cannot make instruments ever again? Dimitri, but you don't need to. Do you realize you can help so many people if you simply share what you already know so that other people can live their gifts? It was that moment when I realized that all my experience, all my love for music, everything that I've learned, everything that I know, everything that I've loved all my life, everything that I thought was so important had zero meaning and zero value if I have taken this with me to the grave. It is then and there, thanks to my wife, I realized I have to find a way to learn how to make my knowledge available to as many people as possible to you so that you can apply what I know and transform your career as well. Which is why in 2016 June you see myself at a conference room here in The Hague at the hotel, and there is this speaker, Chris Rowell, on stage. If you all have a gift, you all have a very special message, and if you do not share that message with the world, then you are being selfish. I decided to invest in my education, and right there after that event I invested 497 euros for 3 days internet marketing and a product creation workshop. And during that workshop I decided to invest further 12,000, and then in the past 2 years I've invested over 120,000 euros in my education, in my training. And the result is that in the first 2 months of 2018, I was able to take my music-related career to the six-figure status. My success took me on stage of a top-notch digital marketing conference in London, where I was able to share stage with celebrity speakers such as Paula Mahoney, Chris Roll, Martin Marchuk, and so many others, sharing my passion, my strategies, my knowledge with hundreds of other creative people in order to help them to take their gifts into their own hands. You see, in the past 10 plus years, I figured out you need only a few very simple things in order to make it as a creative professional. Are you excited to learn? Yes or no? Please type in the chat box. And well, this is why I'm going to speak today about violoncello da Spalla for one thing, and also a couple of other things which I'm doing differently. Okay, I hope you take lots of notes, because there will be a lot of information. Yes, I forgot to show these slides, but well, I told you, yes, I got on magazines, books, radio, TV, newspapers in 10 plus countries, and I performed in major venues, generating up to 5,000 euros per concert with this beautiful instrument, which, would you agree, would that make a difference in your life if you are doing that? And you can, there is no reason why you can't. And yes, as an instrument maker, I created lots of violoncellos da Spallas. Mainly I make violins, of course, but I've made violoncellos da Spallas worth 210,000 euros, and my students generated about 100,000 euros in the past 12 months as a result of what they have been learning from myself. Exciting? Yes or no? Now, let me share with you how all that started, because lots of musicians, lots of instrument makers ask, hey Dimitri, but violoncello da Spalla, did it ever exist? Well, if that is what you think at this moment, I can fully relate to this, because the person who is fully responsible for this dramatic rebirth of the violoncello da Spalla, Sigiswald Kaiken, approached me in 2003 with the exact same question. Dimitri, do you think it ever existed? And which is when I launched my research. It took 6 months full-time, traveling across Europe, between museums, between libraries, reading all these difficult texts in archaic languages, and learning as much as I could about violoncello da Spalla before I was able to create the first drawing, the first prototype of the instrument, which went to Sigiswald Kaiken. After that I made another violoncello da Spalla for him, so he actually owns 2 instruments, 2 violoncellos da Spalla for myself. And That has been quite a remarkable journey. Here's what lots of musicians ask. Well, they think, at first of all, it never existed. They also think that there is no repertoire for this instrument. They also think that there is no job as a violoncello da Spalla player, and they also believe that it is too hard to play and it will definitely not project. It's very interesting, by the way. Normally musicians who have never even seen that instrument have all these interesting ideas that it is too hard to play or it won't project in the concert hall. And well, lots of musicians feel very skeptical because, look, they have already spent decades playing music, violins or violas. Potentially they have invested tens of thousands of euros in their education and also in their instruments. Well, I know some musicians who invested hundreds of thousands of euros in their instruments and they still have no concerts. So you might be thinking, okay, well, I already have a violin, so what? Do you think that I'm going to be doing any better with the instrument for which there is no orchestra section? Yes or no? Now the truth is, there are a lot of documents, historical documents, successfully ignored by many experts in classical music. Documents proving that this was the instrument of choice for many outstanding composers, also important cello composers, such as Johann Sebastian Bach, Antonio Caldara, the Bononcini brothers, and many others. There is a lot of repertoire for that instrument. It's not limited only to the cello repertoire from the Baroque period, because the thing is, in the Baroque period, as you very well know, it was a very common practice to actually compose music and rearrange music for different instruments. So they would not bother to play a violin part or a vocal part on an instrument. It was a very common practice back then, and you can definitely do this today, and it works beautifully. The truth is, you can get hired at a premium because you are potentially the only instrument player in your country who also plays violoncello da Spalla. Or you can actually even own your career, just as in my example I have just shared with you. You have already technique, so lots of musicians tell me, no, Dimitri, I cannot play this instrument because there are no conservatory courses. No, but you do not need conservatory course, because you have all the technique to play this instrument. If you play violin or viola, does that make sense to you? And with the only difference that on violoncello da Spalla it is a lot easier to play because the playing posture is so natural. Actually, a friend of Johann Sebastian Bach, Walter, once said, violoncello is an Italian instrument and it is played like the violin, suspended against the shoulder. And it's true, it's only Italians could have invented this instrument, because why? Italians speak with their hands, and that is actually your playing posture on this instrument. You do not have to do this kind of things as on a violin or a viola. No, it's just raise your hand like you speak, and that is your playing posture on violoncello da Spalla. So there is no musical instrument with a more natural playing posture than on the violoncello da Spalla. Lots of musicians also tell it does not project in the concert hall. Well, the reality is that even I myself played in huge concert venues, even accompanied by orchestras, and has never been a problem to be not heard in the back rows. And in a moment I'm going to share with you a few videos to prove my point, to demonstrate my point, so that you can feel convinced. And what else? The truth is, if you are the only violoncello da Spalla player in your country, you quit that crazy competition and you add what you call leverage to your career. I'm not speaking that you switch from playing violin or viola to playing violoncello da Spalla only. No, I don't mean that. You simply add. But I bet you will love it so much that you will want to play a lot on the violoncello da Spalla, because this is precisely what happened with absolutely all of my clients, including world-famous names such as Sigiswald Kaiken, Rio Tarakato, and of course the remarkable Sergei Malov. Does that make sense to you? Is this exciting, yes or no? Yes, well, the truth is, I was making up to 5,000 euros per concert on violoncello da Spalla. I got multiple international awards, even not being a full-time musician. I got on the TV, radio, magazines, major newspapers, and I've got all that recognition, more fun, zero competition, and sometimes even felt a bit guilty, like, wow, it's all so easy. Do I really deserve that? But do you feel that you deserve that? Yes or no? How would that be to have all these goods in your life potentially in a couple of weeks. Why a couple of weeks? Answer this question. Do you know why a couple of weeks? Yes or no? Well, because you are a violinist, a violist, and you have all the technique to pick this instrument, practice a little bit, 1 or 2 weeks later, you can perform as a soloist with one of the top orchestras, which is exactly what happened in my career. I don't recommend that, it was a bit scary. But the fact is, I got ready in 2 weeks. And you definitely can get ready even sooner because you're a full-time musician, aren't you? Does it make sense? Yes or no? So, the question is, why you joined this webinar? Are you okay to transform your career as an instrument maker or as a violin player, or that is not okay for you? And I want to play for you a couple of videos. So here is a video by the remarkable genius violinist Sergei Malov. Why I want to share this video with you? By the way, it's because it is recorded with a mobile phone, and it's recorded from very far away in a very large concert hall, as you can see. So it is not a professionally done recording, yet in this video you can actually hear how well this instrument performs. So let me play this video. Lovely, isn't it? I hope you enjoyed this recording. Whoa, by the way, fantastic. We have so many people joining today, this webinar. I'm really grateful to you all, guys. Fantastic. Love the energy in the room. So I want to show you a couple of more videos, and before I show you a couple of more videos, let me just quickly read this testimonial from Sergei Malov. The fantastic violoncello da Spalla, reborn by Dmitry, is a great instrumental challenge and musical inspiration for me. Many thanks. Again, you just imagine yourself holding this incredible musical instrument in your hands, and 2 weeks later performing on a concert stage. Whatever repertoire you want to play, whatever you play sounds fresh. And it's not just a crazy modern thing like all those 3D printed violins, you know, this is actually hundreds of years of tradition beneath this. This is the instrument of choice for so many important composers. This is actually the next greatest thing you can do in your career as a professional in music, be it violin making or instrument playing, is rediscovering the instrument for which Johann Sebastian Bach wrote the famous 6 suites for violoncello solo, right? So let me show you a couple of more videos. Here's another recording by a client of mine, also a world famous musician, Rio Terracado, and he's playing here a Vivaldi concerto. So let's listen a few minutes from this recording. I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, I'm streaming all these videos from YouTube. You can always find again those videos. Simply type Violoncello da Spalla into YouTube search box and you will find this video. Especially if you type Sergei Malov, Spalla, or Rio Terracado, Spalla, or Jezinka. I have another beautiful recording here. I just wanted to show you that you don't have to be a large man. You can also be a normal sized person or a woman to play this instrument beautifully. So you do not need to be a giant person, once again, because the playing posture on this instrument is so much more natural than on the violin or the viola. Now I'd like to play just a few minutes from this recording by Jezinka, one of my clients. Unfortunately, we do not have the time to listen the entire concerto. Until then, you can always find it back on YouTube, or you can simply watch a replay of this webinar as well. So type in the chat box, how do you see yourself playing this instrument? Do you see how this will transform your career, regardless what you do, whether you're a violinist or violist or an instrument maker? Just in the exact same way it affected so positively the lives of virtually everyone I know who touched that instrument. Okay, so let's continue now, and I want to show you a few more slides. Here's an epic recording of a La Petite Band in Osaka. It's recorded live. This video is also on YouTube, and in this beautiful recording you can see three instruments, three violoncellos, the Spalla of my work, performed by Sigiswald Kaiken, Makoto Katsuo, a colleague of mine, and myself. And you can actually see what Bach intended for the parts which he designated violoncello, because mind that when he did not mean violoncello, he wrote basso, and by basso he meant a very much larger instrument held vertically. So let me play this video as well, and then we continue with the presentation. my apologies for cutting this beautiful performance short, but have you noticed how perfectly well balanced all three groups of instruments sound? The violas, the violins, and the violoncelli da spalla, where violoncelli da spalla do not overwhelm the orchestra, which is always the case when larger instruments are being used, rather than what Johann Sebastian meant. Now, I would like to play for you yet another video, and this is actually a story, and I'm sure that you will love this story, because here are the words of Sigiswald Kaiken himself about what playing violoncello da spalla gave to him as a person and also as a musician. And I'm sure that this story will resonate with many of you as well, so please enjoy.
I want to start saying that I remember years ago already that I said, being a violinist myself, violin player, I said in my next life I will be a cello player. Something which I repeatedly said to people during the last 35 years, I think. And as a matter of fact, when I was 60, there was that violoncello da spalla coming out of my and your brain and your hands, and so I became a cellist in a certain way from that moment. And it has been, well, perhaps I was anticipating on my next life, I don't know. But anyway, it is like, for me, it is a new dimension, especially, of course, in connection to Bach, to the cello suites, but through that way also to many other things. It is like that instrument is a confident person, a companion to yourself, more than a violin would ever be. A violin has something too difficult, too strident, too much of a prima donna, whereas the violoncello da spalla or violoncello tout court or viola da gamba as well is more mild range in the sound, and the spalla, particularly when you hold it as you should, it resonates against your breastbone, and I think it heals many things. It's just bringing peace. Physically, it is very relaxing, and you kind of have better dreams with that. And then, speaking of Bach, of course, playing the cello suites on that instrument is like coming home. You feel that this music is finally normal music, and if you play it on the right instrument, it's like you discover or you rediscover, I don't know, I have never played them on the cello because I'm not a cello player, normal cello player, but it was obvious that all these notes and all these technical, starting points when he wrote it, that was just written for a big violin. But the fact that you have the octave possibility between first and fourth finger, you can reach an octave on the spalla, which you can't on the cello. That is so obviously one of the keys to this music, to the writing of this music. And being like this, then you just start, you practice, and you see, my God, I come home. This is the best thing ever happened. Having said all this, I only want to make young musicians jealous and feel some urgency to undertake this kind of thing, to go to that instrument and see what it brings them. And if you're a violin player, you play easily on the viola, of course. If you play viola, you can easily play the violoncello da spalla. It's like a big viola, a very big viola, let's say, and it's a new freedom. So please go for that, and you will find it out yourself.
Now, I hope you enjoyed these beautiful words by this amazing musician Sigiswald Kaiken, thanks to whom we are speaking today about this beautiful instrument known as violoncello da spalla today, and which composers in the 17th and 18th century, as by now you very well know, was simply called violoncello. All right? Let me ask you a question. Do you want to play that? Yes or no? Please type in the chat box. And am I the right person for you to make that instrument specially for you, just in the way I created instruments for Sigiswald Kaiken, 6 instruments for Sigiswald Kaiken, 3 for Rio Terracato, 2 for Sergei Malov. Am I the right person to create an instrument for you? Well, I don't know. You have the answer, but I want to share with you a top secret. Now, listen very attentively, because this one thing will change your career, even if you do not play violoncello da spalla. Have you ever wondered why top musicians always speak about their instruments? Why top musicians always put into their biographies, I'm playing on a Stradivari violin from a Foundation A. I'm playing on a Guarneri violin kindly on loan from the Bank B, and so forth. Have you ever wondered what is this all about? Is this about musicians? No, here's the thing. Here's why musicians do this. Because music lovers, they are not necessarily as refined as musicians. Would you agree? Does that make sense to you? That an ordinary music lover is not necessarily in a position to distinguish between one violin and another violin, a cheap violin and a very fine violin. Would you agree? And here's what happens. When music fans, your fans, see that you are playing on a valuable instrument that potentially costs millions of euros, they feel better about themselves. They feel, wow, we have a good ear, we have a good sense, we made the right choice of this musician to listen to because, well, that musician plays on a Stradivari violin, well, that's something they can understand. Would you agree, yes or no? And, well, here's why you could, here's how you could use this same point regardless of what type of instrument you play. Well, given that you are playing a master-made violin, so what you have to do, who are the musicians who play on instruments from the same instrument maker who made the instrument for you? And then you can position yourself in the eyes of your audience. You can tell, I'm playing on an instrument made by the same maker who made instruments for this and this and that famous musician. It's not about you, it's about your audience, that they are getting something from you they are able to understand. Aha, well, this musician is serious because he or she is playing on an instrument from someone more important, something they can understand. We call this leverage. Well, if you are playing on an instrument of my work, you can do the same. You are playing on an instrument, violoncello da Spalla, for example, from the maker who has made 6 instruments for Sigiswald Hagen, 3 instruments for Rio Tarakato, and 2 instruments for Sergei Malov. And these are world-famous names. And when you are telling that, when you are giving this to your audience, they will be able to relate to you, and they will be able to perceive you as a more important person. And that's because simply they are amateurs. I mean, they're simply music lovers, and they need something that they can relate to. So either you tell them that you are playing a Stradivari violin or a rare antique Italian violin, or you tell them that you are playing on a violin made by an instrument maker who made instruments also for world-famous names, even though those famous names, like many of my clients, also own rare Italian instruments. Does that make sense to you? Yes or no? Do you see how you can apply this simple trick in your career and already make it a lot easier for yourself? Yes or no? Okay, now here's what you can do next. If you are a violin player, if you are a viola player, you can simply schedule a free consultation with myself. And here's what you have to do. Simply type in the browser this address, that is bit.ly/Spalla consult, and fill in the form, and you get a chance to win a violoncello da Spalla bow for free, and it is a value of 1,850 euros. And why I'm doing this is just because I want to create a few more success stories in the coming few months or years, and also because you are joining me today on this webinar, and in that way you are exceptional. Would you agree, yes or no? Because non-exceptional musicians don't join any kind of webinars, and they don't keep continuously learning. So, which is why I'm doing this. And another thing which you also could do to help yourself to become the expert number 1 in your city is simply grab right now my very popular ebook and audiobook, in which I'm sharing the history and the historical documents around the violoncello da Spalla, the repertoire you can play, also a table of measurements of many surviving instruments. As well as, if you want to, you can also optionally get a free signed physical copy of my award-winning CD, and I'm giving this physical copy to you completely for free. I'm only asking you to pay the shipping so that I'm not losing money. I'm not making any money on that. It would just barely cover the cost of running this webinar. So please enjoy, take the chance of benefiting from this one-time offer right now. So, but okay, if you are here and you are a maker, you might be thinking, hey, Dimitri, all this is fantastic, but I'm not a player. What can I do? Well, then for you, especially for you, if you are an instrument maker, I have something also very, very important. And lots of violin makers come to me and they ask, hey, where do I get the drawing? I want to make violoncello Spalla. Where do I get the drawing? And sometimes they tell me, okay, Dimitri, I am not going to make violoncello da Spalla because I cannot sell even violins. Who will buy violoncello da Spalla? Because, again, there are no orchestra sections with violoncello da Spalla players and these kind of things. And also, lots of violin makers, they tell me that, no, well, I'm not going to make violoncello da Spalla because no one in my country is interested. And they also tell me that I have no time or no money for these kind of things. And, well, they think that they have time and money for things that don't really work, or, well, work, but make your career much more difficult. And did you tell me that you wanted to get from point A to the point B, yes or no, if you are an instrument maker? Which is why I'm sharing with you this truth about violoncello da Spalla, and I have already shared formally a few minutes ago that the truth is I've sold violoncellos da Spallas worth 210,000 euros, and this year I am definitely on track to 250,000 or maybe even more. Even more importantly, my students who are instrument makers have generated collectively close to 100,000 euros in 12 months selling violoncellos da Spallas. And the strategies that I'm sharing with them and with you as well generated me 2,820 prospects in 12 months and generated 77 customers. And when you are an instrument maker, potentially the only in your country or one of the few making this instrument, you get all that free publicity on mass media such as magazines, radios, newspapers, and so forth. Some of my students got on national newspapers and radio and so forth, and this stuff works. Which means that you simply get more sales of violoncellos da Spalla and also other instruments because you get that free publicity. Would that be welcome in your career, yes or no? Here's the truth. The truth for myself, before I created the violoncello da Spalla, I had to work harder, both as an instrument maker and also as a musician. And after, when I created the violoncello da Spalla, everything became so stupidly simple. Because there is this instant curiosity factor, because there is no competition, because there is all this free publicity, and that means more sales, more fun, and also sense of contribution into the culture of classical music, which also brings a sense of fulfillment. And do I dare to say, when you feel joyous, making contribution, making difference, does that make your health even better, yes or no? Would you want to have that? Would you want to have that in your instrument making career? And do you believe that you also deserve this? It's time for you to get all that so easily, rather than continue struggling, doing the same things that, not saying that doesn't work, but so many other businesses in instrument making are doing, including Chinese and Romanian factories. So do you see yourself how that gives you absolutely incredible points of leverage and puts your game into a completely different level as an instrument maker, also enabling you to help a lot of musicians in your country, because the reality is I don't have the time to make physically instruments for everybody who asks. I have two hands. I don't have a plan to open a factory in China. This is an art for me. I love doing this, and I'm simply not able to create musical instruments, violoncellos da Spalla, for everybody who asks, which is why I'm now training also a group of instrument makers from all around the world how they can create instruments for the clients in their countries. Does that make sense to you? Do you want to have that, yes or no? Do you want to make your violin making career a lot more profitable? Do you want to help musicians in your country, yes or no? So, you might be wondering, Dimitri, wait. You are a violin maker, I'm a violin maker. Are you helping competitors? Hey, this just does not make sense. I hear that a lot from colleagues, instrument makers. And, well, I guess the answer is simple. Well, firstly, I do things differently. Does that make sense to you? And secondly, because I have a vision. I have a vision that classical music culture merits survival. If I'm alone making this violoncello da Spalla, there is no chance that this will survive. But as a team, we can make a difference. I know what it takes to reconstruct this in such a way that it works. It's 6 months of non-stop full-time research, traveling between libraries and museums in Europe, staying in hotels, and so forth. It's an astronomical cost, and the majority of instrument makers just don't have the time, not money, for these kind of things. And I know when I stop doing this, it will die, unless I've done something, and I share this knowledge with as many instrument makers as possible, which is why I'm speaking to you today. And I'm going to share with you a few more slides so that you know how you can join. So here is what I do. I have my inner circle at my Authentic Instrument Makers Academy, and let me tell you a couple of words about what it is. So this is an inner circle, a group of instrument makers from around the world, literally, and these instrument makers are getting violoncello da Spalla design from myself, the proven design, the one that has been used again and again, and it works. Everybody wants that design. Famous players play on that design. Kaiken, Malov, Teraka, the Yezinka, and so forth, you name it, they are all using that design. My students are also learning the marketing tips, using the proven 6-step formula which I have created, which all helps them to, of course, generate a lot more extra income, but more importantly, feel like not spinning wheels in the mud, if that makes sense, but really making a difference in their lives and also in the lives of musicians around themselves. So that is what the inner circle about. And I want to share with you a few testimonials, because I don't want just speak about this inner circle. I want to let other people speak about this. So here's one success story from Oleg Ivanishchuk. Just 12 months ago, I had no business. Now I am getting orders from all around the world, and students travel to learn violin making with myself from all corners of the planet. Is this not beautiful? Absolutely amazed how well Oleg is doing. And now I want to share with you a few videos as well from the members of my inner circle. So here's one.
Hello. My name is Takumi. I'm a violin maker in Japan. This is a testimonial for Dmitry Badyarov. I have been in his inner circle, and I have learned the making of violoncello da Spalla and the harmonical proportion design for instrument, and the online marketing. As a result, I generated an order before I finished my first violoncello da Spalla, so I'm very pleased for that. Also, the conversation and exchanging of knowledge and idea with a member was great things for me. So if you are a maker, I recommend to join in the group as well. So good luck.
So this was a testimonial from one of our members, and he is actually a violin maker, founder of School of Violin Making in Tokyo, and a very, very established professional as well. So I want to share with you a few more videos. So here's one more from a student in the United States.
Hi, my name is Eric Aceto. I'm a luthier in Trumansburg, New York. Building violin, mandolin, and guitar families of instruments. And this is a testimonial for Dmitry Badyarov. I've been pleased and fortunate to be a member of his inner circle, learning about the application of proportional design through study of the violoncello da Spalla. It's resonated deeply with me for every instrument I build, and building violoncello da Spalla and participating in the resurgence of this fine instrument has given me a renewed excitement and passion for lutherie in general. And it's also connected me with new customers, friends, and colleagues all around the world. So if you're a maker, I recommend you join the group and avail yourself of Dmitry's ethical guidance in both instrument making and the marketing aspects of our craft. So best of luck.
So this was Eric, a very fine craftsman from the United States, from New York area. And there's another success story from Koji Biko, an instrument maker in Tokyo. Let me play his story as well.
My name is Koji Abiko. I'm a violin maker in Japan. This is a testimonial for Grand Maestro Dmitry Badyarov. I've been a member of his inner circle and I've learned how to make my career and how to make customers using SNS and how to make violoncello da Spalla. As a result, I found a business partner in Southeast Asia. If you're a maker and you want to make your own instruments, not copy, I recommend you join the group as well. Bye.
Such is the story of Koji as well. So, are you okay if I show you the offer? Yes or no? Please type into the chat box so that you are also joining this group of instrument makers from around the world at my Authentic Instrument Makers Academy. So let me show what is included. So you are getting the proven violoncello da Spalla design because that is what you need. And you might be actually wondering, hey Dimitri, but do clients want a proven violoncello da Spalla design? Maybe they don't. So here's what I actually learned. I've received these messages from people from around the world, and they are writing, well, here's one from Pamela. Certainly, any da Spalla from any maker would not do. It would be great if I could find a luthier who had some training by you. Another one from Paul. Your proposition to obtain an apprentice instrument intrigues me. Another one from Mel. Possibility of buying a Spalla done by one of your students for $5,000 is a wonderful opportunity. I'm so interested that it itches. And mind, all these people actually bought instruments from my students, and they were able to leverage training with myself and also the proven violoncello da Spalla design, which took me 6 months of full-time work to create. And that came to me at the cost of 72,000 euros. Well, how much is the cost? Let's say you are selling your instruments for $5,000 or euros, or $10,000 or euros, and you are doing your full-time research for several months ahead, so you are not able to make and sell those instruments, and that is the cost to you, to your violin making studio. Does that make sense, yes or no? Plus the air fee, plus the hotel fee, plus all these other things, which is why it is actually really, really costly to undertake this kind of things, and which is why they don't happen very often in classical music. So what you are getting is the proven violoncello da Spalla design, plus also 10 online group mentoring sessions. And you will be able to leverage the names of my famous clients, telling your clients as well that you are building an instrument using the model, the same one that is played by Kaiken, Terracotta and Malov. Will that sell your instrument? Absolutely yes, because it did in the past 12 months sell instruments for my students. Besides this, what I discovered is that you also need violoncello da Spalla bow drawing, because lots of musicians will come to you and tell, hey, I want to buy from you, how much is that? Okay, $20,000 or whatever your price is, but you know, I'm not going to buy because I don't know where to get the bow. I hear this a lot. I really hear that a lot. And it's true that there are not so many bow makers who have any idea about how to make a violoncello da Spalla bow. They just don't. They don't have the experience of playing violoncello, violoncello da Spalla, so that they know what a good violoncello da Spalla bow should be. Which is why I'm also offering you the proven violoncello da Spalla bow drawing, so that you are able to create this bow if necessary for your clients, and then you eliminate that objection if that is the objection of your client. And actually this strategy helped me to sell lots of instruments, and this strategy helped a lot of students to sell their instruments. You are also getting, let me repeat once again. So you are getting the proven violoncello da Spalla design, you are getting also the proven violoncello da Spalla bow drawing together. Then you have a complete set. And on top of this, I've also noticed that many of my students had wonders about how to actually varnish the instrument in such a way that it attracts the clients. Because would you agree that ugly varnish does not help to sell an instrument, and certainly makes it look priced cheap? Would you agree, yes or no? Which is why I'm also offering varnishing tips and tricks so that your instruments look considerably more appealing to your clients, which will definitely help to raise prices on all of your instruments and sell more of your instruments. And your clients will be definitely more happy to play on an instrument that is not only beautifully sounding but also very beautiful to look at, which is again something very important for their audiences. Okay, so you are also getting the introduction into the art of varnishing the way I do this. Let me repeat once again what you are getting. You are getting the violoncelle da Spalla design, the proven one, the proven violoncelle da Spalla bow drawing, and also introduction into the art of varnishing. That is what you are getting as a member of Inner Circle at the Authentic Instrument Makers Academy. Besides this, I discovered that simply giving away a drawing is not enough. Lots of my students found support also very essential, which is why I created this support group, which is a private group on Facebook and especially on WhatsApp. So we have an Inner Circle group on WhatsApp in which you will be able to ask me any questions around creating your instruments, marketing your instruments, bows, varnishing and so forth. And you'll also be able to bounce ideas with the community of very, very serious instrument makers, literally from all around the world. So let me repeat once again what is included in this Inner Circle package. That is the drawing for violoncelle da Spalla, the drawing for the violoncelle da Spalla bow, the art of varnishing and introduction, and the private support group on WhatsApp and Facebook. That is what you are getting. And what I also found out that besides all this information, as an instrument maker, you also need the audience, our customers. Would you agree that without selling your instruments, you cannot run your instrument making business? That is where the problem starts. By the way, it's the same true for violinists or musicians. If they don't have audience, they are in trouble. And this is why I created this 6-step formula, which is proven again and again. This is the formula that generated lots of my clients multiple 5 figures in their instrument making businesses. This is the formula which generated myself 6 figures last year and this year as well. And so this is an introduction into my artist marketing machine, where you can see that artist is an acronym where each letter stands for a specific issue in business that you need to have solved from A to T. ARTIST, all those are little things that need to be functioning in your career as an instrument maker correctly, and that is what you are getting. You are getting the proven blueprint to growing your passion-driven business, and that will be one group online session, and of course coverage in the support group. That is what will make you a lot more profitable, independent as well, as an instrument maker or even as a musician. So let me repeat once again what you are getting here. So as a member of my Inner Circle group, you are getting the proven violoncelle da Spalla design, the proven violoncelle da Spalla bow drawing, the art of varnishing, support group on WhatsApp and Facebook, and the artist marketing machine introduction into how to actually grow your business to a completely new level and do it very fast. This is what I'm offering my clients and my students at the Authentic Instrument Makers Academy. And I want to share with you a few more success stories, and here's one from Paul Shelley, and he doesn't say that in the video, but he recently sold his instrument, I heard, to a client in New York City, for which I'm absolutely grateful and happy. I'm very happy to see my students making this kind of successes all the time.
Hi, so my name is Paul Shelley. I'm a violin maker from Birmingham in the UK, and this is a testimonial for Dmitry Badyarov. I've been in his Inner Circle group this year, which has been really useful for learning more about da Spalla construction, design in general, and also about some of the marketing side that goes along with it. So it's been really useful information this year. So if you're a maker and those things sound interesting to you, then I'd recommend checking it out. I
want to share with you yet another success story, and this is from my student in Mexico, Gabriela Carpinteiro, and she's been doing absolutely incredibly well.
Hello, my name is Gabriela. I'm a violin maker from Mexico, and this is a testimonial for Dmitry Badyarov. I've been a member of his Inner Circle, and I've learned many things that I had not previously thought important as a violin maker. I learned to use the social network as a tool to approach people who share my dreams. I learned to make the violoncello da Spalla, an amazing instrument, and designed the instrument using the music, not centimeters. This is the first year that I have worked on instruments sold before making them all the year, and this is a dream come true for me. The price of my instrument has doubled, and as a result I generate more than $15,000, and I am very happy to be able to build new instruments all the year round and almost the next year too. That is why if you are a maker, I recommend you join the group as well. Thank you and good luck.
So this was my student Gabriela Carpintero in Mexico, and she is absolutely smashing it. She's doing so well. I want to share with you yet another quick testimonial, and this is from my student whom you have already seen.
Hello, my name is Oleg Ivanishuk. I'm a violin maker and I'm talking to you from Vitoria-Gasteiz, Spain. This is a testimonial for Dmitry Badiarov. I have been a member of his inner circle for violin makers. During this course, I learned how to find my clients. I generated about 20,000 euros, and I was featured in a local newspaper. Also, I seriously improved my skill. If you are a violin maker, if you are a serious violin maker, I strongly recommend to take this course with Dmitry.
So this was an amazing story from Oleg, and he's actually doing even better now because besides making instruments for clients from all around the world, he's also now getting students in violin making also from around the world. Absolutely fantastic, feeling great seeing my students making this kind of differences in their lives and definitely in the lives of their clients. And you're very much welcome to join my inner circle. Guys, are you enjoying this? Does this sound exciting? Would you like to know even more? Yes or no? Please type in the chat box. I really appreciate your engagement. I love the energy in the group. I see there are lots of participants, really amazing. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much for joining. And of course, congratulations for your making the discovery of this opportunity, which is absolutely incredible opportunity and is absolutely the right moment for you to shine right now. We are actually, I believe, living in the most amazing time ever in history when it's the best to be a professional in music. So, are you okay if I will actually show you what the investment is? Yes or no? Please type in the chat box. So I'll show you what comes in. So the value you are getting from this mentoring program is quite huge. And in a moment you will learn why majority of my students decided to renew their membership for 1 year more. But let me cover the value. So I mentioned it took me 6 months of research to create that violoncello da Spalla design that works, which came to me at a cost of 72,000 euros, which would come to you at a tremendous cost even if you were researching just 1 month, which is not enough. It will definitely take more. So the value you are getting is 9997 in the drawing, which solves all those problems now. Immediately, you're also getting the proven violoncello da Spalla bow drawing, which took myself several months of making different bows, experimenting what works, what doesn't work, and you are getting this for just 297. You are also getting the introduction to the art of varnishing, that is the beautiful art of applying varnish the classical way, and this is exactly what raised prices on instruments of all of my students, or almost all of my students, and you are getting support with that. Why? Because I want to help you to sell your violoncellos da Spallas as quickly as possible. Because would you agree if you make instruments and they stay at your workshop, it doesn't make a very big difference in your life or in the lives of your potential clients, yes and no. You're also getting the access to my private mentoring group on WhatsApp, and and Facebook, and the value is 497, and you're also getting the artist marketing machine, and this is actually the structure which helped Oleg to launch internationally recognized business in just 12 months. This is the structure which put me on stage when I was performing actively in Tokyo. This is the structure which generated my instrument making business last year, 6 figures. This year, already 6 figures, and I'm definitely on track to making it even a 7-figure instrument making business. So this is actually what you are getting. And I know there is a lot of value because I myself, I mentioned earlier, invested over 120,000 euros in the past 2 years to get all these skills and knowledge from the best, and I'm packaging this and I'm giving all this away for you just for under 1,500. Would you agree that this is absolutely amazing deal? Now, here's the total value you are getting, and it is 18,276 euros straight into your business today. And you will be able to transform your business super soon. And with all that, having said all that, actually I want to reveal the truth. Straight away, I'm not going to charge you 18,000 euros. And indeed, I had very difficult choices to make. Because I could go as cheap as possible, sell as many as possible, and, well, potentially attract people who do not even see value in this. They will not do a thing. They will simply waste their time and money, my time and money as well, and will not do anything. Or I could go a little bit higher investment on your side, but here's what I give you in exchange for this. I give you my time, my experience, and my resources to help and guarantee your success stories in the coming few months. So, would you like that? Would you like to hear what my special offer is? You already heard what is the value you are getting from this. Gabriela said, "I'm living the dream that coming true." Alex said, 12 months ago I had no business. Now I am internationally acclaimed expert. So the value you are getting is 18,276, and even if I was charging you this, it would still be a great deal. But because I want to create a few more success stories this year and help you on your journey as an instrument maker or professional classical music as a player, I want to give you a very special offer, and here what it is. So you are getting all of this. All this value is 18,726 euros. That is the value you are getting. And, well, frankly, the normal street price is 5,997, which is absolutely still a great deal. But if you are acting right now, you will get it for just 1,997 euros. And having said that, that is even not all. Are you okay if I will make you a really, really super special offer? Yes or no? Please type in the box, in the chat box. Please type now. So actually, I want to offer all of this to you, and you will get all this for just 1,497. And let me tell you that this is even not all. When you are investing this very tiny amount, you are transforming your business, you're taking it to a completely new level. Yeah, you can do it by clicking on the button which I just provided, or typing this address, which is bit.ly/innercircle2019, and you can apply to become a member. But I want to make it even more special. And would you like to know what is included on top of all that? Yes or no? So here's what I want to do. I've discovered that in order to make your instruments in such a way that your clients come to you again and again and again. Did I mention that Sigiswald Kaiken bought up to 6 times? Actually, he bought 6 times, 6 instruments from myself. Rio Terracotta bought 3 times. Sergei Malov bought 2 times. I mean, there are more clients who bought more than 1 instrument from us. Be welcome in your career if world-famous musicians were coming to you again and again and again and again just because you are making great instruments, yes or no. So here's the secret behind that success, because I have developed this 7-tone system, which is a foolproof system to acoustically designing your instruments in such a way that your clients come back to you again, all over again. And when you are joining this, right now you are getting this for free. Yes, I have said that, you have heard this is completely crazy, and this offer guarantee will not stay forever. It's one-time offer. And well, you might be wondering what is the value in this. And actually, ability to create custom-made instruments from a person's hand, just like in the past 2 years, generated my business 40,000 euros. And it also helped my students. Now I will read a few testimonials, a few stories. Andrew, a violin making student in Parma. This is a rediscovery of a very valuable patrimony of the humanity. The entire violin making world owes much to you. That's what sets us apart and makes me feeling comforted by the truth. Violin making is not just measurements. That is Andrew. Another story from Simon Gonzalez, instrument maker. The value I received from this course is incredible. I'm translating some interesting models that I like. The results are mind-blowing. I'm wordless to thank you for all this. I think it would be payable, at least in Chile, between 500 and 800 euros per session. So it would be like 4,000 to 5 for 5 sessions. Thanks for everything, Dimitri. This is what my students tell about the value they received from this training course alone. And here's Takumi, an established violin maker in Tokyo, founder of a school of violin making in Tokyo. The value which I have received from your lecture was really great, and therefore it's really difficult to put a price. For a private online lecture, between 7,000 and 8,000. For a private one-on-one lesson, 13,000 euros. So here's another success story from Oleg Ivanishuk. Let me play this video for you.
Hello friends, my name is Oleg Ivanishuk. I'm a violin maker and I'm talking from Spain. In this video, I want to thank to Dmitry Badyarov for his incredible online course of violin design. This course already marked a point of turn in my work. It allowed me to improve my work in a very short period of time and make a massive shortcut in my investigation. And it's bring me an incredible feeling of freedom, joy and satisfaction. And it brought me also 2 more clients just in a few days. One of them is here. He's recording this video. He came to visit me from Belgium, and I told him about my experience, about this course with Dmitry Badyarov, and about my new knowledge, and he decided to order instrument from me, and it's very nice. I am very happy to do instrument for him and to make instruments. And thank you again, Dmitry, and thank you everybody for watching. Ciao.
So that was from Oleg. You heard what he said about only that training package alone, the 7 tones system, which I'm teaching to my students at my Authentic Instrument Makers Academy. Well, and that's not all. I also include, if you are taking action right now, and by the way, only 5 available, if you order from the webinar right now, you are also getting one-on-one private marketing and business growth strategy session with myself. And I would charge $497 for 1 hour like this, because remember, you are going to get a value for which you would normally invest over 100,000 euros, and you are getting this as a bonus for free. Again, it takes my personal time and my personal resources, which is why I find this is absolutely incredible offer, and definitely congratulate you on taking action and taking the advantage of this offer right now here from the webinar. And actually I want to share with you yet another testimonial from a beautiful soul, Tasha, and she was on my training. She's also very successful, not a violinist and not a musician. She's a photographer and a filmmaker, but an international speaker. And here's what she says about the strategies which I have shared with her.
Hi everyone, this is Tasha Cooney. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, international speaker, and I am your permission coach. And I just got done listening to Dimitri and learning about his product. that he has that is transforming lives. And for people like me, creatives, creative entrepreneurs, people that have a niche that they're working with and they're not sure how to incorporate it into a big business. Some of us are really scared. As me being a documentary filmmaker on the side as well as being a permission coach, I was a little afraid, like, how is documentary filmmaking marketable? How can I turn documentary filmmaking into a business? Right? You might be asking these questions. You might have a hobby or a niche or something that you love to do, and you're not sure how to turn that into a profitable business. Well, Dimitri has a powerful system that's going to walk you through from concept to start to thought to how can you really take this business, be it creative, be it productive, be it whatever it is, and you're not sure how to really transform that and turn that into something that's going to make money. Dimitri is going to take his magic, he's going to take his program, and he's going to put you through it, sprinkle it all over you, teach you exactly what you need to do to make that a profitable business. So, as your permission coach, I give you permission to work with Dimitri. He's amazing.
Here's what I did to Oleg actually. Just 12 months ago, I had no business. Now I'm getting orders from all around the world, and students travel to learn violin making with myself from all corners of the planet. Oleg Ivanishuk. Now, whether you are already world famous instrument maker and you have already lots of clients, would you believe that getting even more would make the lives of those clients better and your life as well better? Or if you are somewhere at the beginning of your career or a mid-career, and now do you see how this will also affect positively your life and your career, yes or no? So besides these two bonuses, you are also getting this absolutely amazing thing, because this is actually what created those success stories. And this is 12 recordings of all of the sessions in the last year. 12 sessions recorded for you in a video format, and you can get an access to this. The value is 2497, and you are getting this for free. This is exactly everything that made so many students of mine successful, and you are getting this as a bonus if you are ordering right now from this webinar. Well, I want to share with you something. This was absolutely unbelievable experience having you today. Also has been unbelievable, fantastic, beautiful experience training this group of instrument makers last year. The truth is, a majority of them found this training so priceless, so valuable, that more than half of them decided to stay 1 year longer, and half of them also joins me at a live training event on a tropical resort, or 5-star resort on the island of Lanzarote, and each one of them invested 2,900 euros, 2,953 euros to be exact, to go and work live. Would you agree that they would not do that if they didn't find the training so valuable? Yes or no? So, okay, well, the real question now is, are you worth just 1497, yes or no? Is it worth gambling if this investment will pay back for itself as soon as you get your first instrument, violoncello da Spalla made in soul? And if you position yourself as the expert #1 in your area on the violoncello da Spalla and sell more, if you attract all that attention of musicians and mass media, newspapers, TV, radio in your area, well, they will speak about you, your passion for what you do, and it will move your business from where it is now to absolutely new level. Do you deserve that? Are you welcoming this in your career? Yes or no? And it is only 1497. And if you act now, you get all those 3 bonuses as well. So once again, here's a special offer. And you are getting all of this. So this, you are getting violoncello da Spalla proven design, you are getting violoncello da Spalla bow drawing, you are getting the art of varnishing, you are getting the private group support on WhatsApp and Facebook, you are getting introduction into the artist marketing machine, you are also getting introduction into the 7 tones system of acoustical design, which will ensure that you design your instrument in such a way that even world famous clients come to you to buy again and again and again. You are also getting one-on-one marketing and business growth strategy with myself, and you are also getting access to all of the recordings from inner circle sessions in the last year. So the value is amazing. It's 18,000 euros, 726 euros, which you are buying for just 1,497, just 1,497. All you have to do is click on the button which is provided, or type this link into your browser and join the inner circle right now. And I'm really, really looking forward to working together with you, helping you to transform your instrument making business, your career in music, and take it to a completely new level. And well, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Don't procrastinate. This is going to be the smartest investment in your gift ever. I guarantee this. I'm 100% positive about this because I'm standing on what? On the results of my amazing students, and you are very much welcome to join. All right, so that is it for today. Don't procrastinate, take action, join, and I'm really looking forward to catching up with all of you very soon. Take care and goodbye.